So there have been no shortage of Switch Pro rumors and reports circulating around online recently, and today is no different because we have Bloomberg again reporting on that Nintendo is not only planning a Switch Pro, but could actually introduce this thing at a new price point of either $349 or $399, and they're doing some real big claims like it's going to support DLSS, a brand new CPU, and actually 4K support when docked. Things we have covered before, but I want to talk through this newest report that's out and if I think it's credible or not, and if Nintendo will actually do a move like this, so we have to talk about it. What's up, Nation? If it's your first time on the channel, make sure you join Sunbro Nation by subscribing below, hit the like button on this video if you enjoy it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. Now guys, today we're talking about all things Switch Pro again, and there is a lot of reports to go through online when it comes to the claims that now multiple outlets are saying that Nintendo will be releasing this thing targeting 2021, believe it or not, in the holiday season. And while I do think it is possible that we will see this thing actually come out in 2021, the only thing that makes me skeptical of it is the chip shortage that's happening right now. But maybe Nintendo's targeting a specific type of Nvidia chip that they are going to be able to deliver on. And the reason we're talking about Switch Pro again today is because Bloomberg has now released an additional report stating that this thing will be released in 2021. It will most likely come in a new price point. So to start off, we have to read through the article details so we're all on the same page, and then we will discuss kind of what to expect from these reports and if they are in fact most likely to happen. Nintendo's upcoming Switch hardware update, dubbed the Switch Pro by analysts, will reportedly feature Nvidia's DLSS technology. That's according to a new report from Bloomberg, which claims that the new Switch will release later this year and adopt an updated Nvidia chip with improved graphics and processing. The new chipset will also bring a better CPU and increased memory, it said. DLSS is a feature exclusive to Nvidia's RTX graphics cards and works by using AI to upscale the resolution of games, effectively allowing players to achieve higher graphical settings and better frame rates from their systems without a performance hit. Previously, the DLSS feature was limited to just a few games on the PC, but with the introduction of DLSS 2.0 last year, Nvidia said the AI behind the upscaling did not need to be trained specifically for each individual title. DLSS on the Switch would allow the updated system to run games at 4K when in television mode, according to Bloomberg. The publication notes that as DLSS support will need to be manually added to Switch games, it will primarily be used to improve graphics on software coming in the future, according to its development sources. Journalist Takahashi Mochizuki has been actively reporting on Nintendo Switch hardware plans over the past 18 months. According to a recent report, the Switch Pro will include a 7-inch Samsung OLED screen as opposed to the 6.2-inch and 5.5-inch LCD screens of the current standard model and the Switch Lite respectively. Despite the larger screen, the new Switch will continue to display content in 720p resolution in handheld mode, it's claimed, but will be able to support a 4K display when docked. Bloomberg suggests the hardware may have similar dimensions to the standard Switch, with the bezel around the screens being reduced to cater for the larger display. Now, so there's really a couple big takeaways from that article, and the first of which is the fact that this would be a brand new CPU and graphics processor, which would be a departure from kind of the rumors that we've seen before that basically just states that Nintendo will just be using a different version of the dock to achieve the 4K resolution, but DLSS is actually not compatible with the current version of the Nvidia chipset that is in the Nintendo Switch. Now, there is also a bunch of rumors online stating that Nvidia is actually phasing out the Tegra chip that they currently use in the Switch, which would mean that Nintendo will at some point need to go ahead and upgrade this CPU anyway, and it's totally possible that they do it with the Switch Pro and then release like kind of slow revisions to the lower base model and the Switch Lite going forward, because if this chip is really going to end at some point, Nintendo will obviously have to transition to newer technology, and we may see it in the form of kind of like new Nintendo Switches or new, similar to how they do with the DS line, because we do have to keep in mind this is technically a hybrid console, and Nintendo, especially on their handhelds, likes to do numerous revisions to handheld consoles as they're in their life cycle. And while I don't think we'll see a ton of exclusive games or see like the Switch audience split in half because you can only play the new games on the Switch Pro, I do think there will be a number of select titles, probably mainly third-party ones, that wouldn't be able to run on the Switch that we will see at that. But I do think that this is an exciting report in the sense that if this is true, we are talking about a much more powerful Nintendo Switch that's going to run things at 4K with DLSS included, which is a really big win. I mean, if you guys can imagine what a Breath of the Wild 2 will look like in docked with 4K support with DLSS technology, I think it's going to blow everybody away. And you can actually see there's been like different modders that have released recent footage of Breath of the Wild running in like 8K with ray tracing on and all that great stuff. And I think that if Nintendo gets anywhere close to this with the sequel of Breath of the Wild and they launch it alongside of Breath of the Wild 2, I think it's going to be incredible, and I think the sales numbers that they get out of it are next level. The other thing is, guys, is that we do have, you know, the rumors and speculation that if this does release at the end of 2022, that it will probably launch alongside of a big blockbuster title, because I don't think Nintendo releases this by itself. My personal prediction, and I've stated it in different videos, is if we do see this thing released this year at the end of 2021, that we see it alongside Breath of the Wild 2 and Mario Kart 9. So, you know, something to that effect to really sell the system. And especially there is a analyst that is at Bloomberg also that is stating that he expects this thing to actually come in at a new pricing tier based off this newest report that says that the DLSS and the 4K and the 720p OLED screen and all of that included will actually launch in a new pricing tier, which would be really interesting to see. And now he is predicting between $349 and $399. Now, I hope that Nintendo, if they do this, they target the $349 as a smaller upgrade, because if they go to $399, they are then competing against a PS5 digital edition, which is obviously going to be more powerful but lacks the ability to go portable. So it'll be really interesting to see how Nintendo attacks the market. I think they can still sell this thing at $399, and I will happily pay that if that's what it costs, but it is something that I think that they can get even more gamers into this upgraded console if it sits at that $349 price point and it's not literally sitting on the shelf next to a PS5 that it can actually outperform it in terms of graphical performance. But I would love to know your guys' thoughts on this, because there's a bunch of rumors floating around with the Nintendo Switch Pro, and I would love to get a gauge of if you guys think that these are somewhat credible and that we are going to see it at the end of this year, or if this is something that's way further down the line and it's all just, you know, hearsay and it's being reported on way too much. So I am going to create a community poll, so please share your thoughts with me on that before you leave, and then also comment down below and let me know what you guys are expecting in terms of a Switch revision and when it will be released before you leave the video today. Thanks so much for watching the video today, everyone. I do truly appreciate you all sticking around until the end. I do at this point in the video want to invite you all one more time to join Sunbro Nation if you haven't done so already. Do so by subscribing below, hit the like button on your way out on this video if you enjoyed it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. That's going to do it for me, guys. I hope you all have a great day. Sunbro Nation, out.